Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks for watching another edition of the Small Business Show, exclusively right here at ASBN.com. Employer health coverage costs, you probably already got a pain in your side when I said that, are rising and small businesses are feeling the squeeze for sure. So what can businesses, and business owners do? One option gaining momentum is the level funded health plan. Today, we are joined by Gene Marks, columnist, best-selling author, keynote speaker, and small business expert to help us understand what these plans are and whether they might be the right fit for you. So Gene, thank you so much for once again joining us on the show.
Thank you, Jim. And actually, I'm a certified public accountant, if you haven't figured it out from this face.
We should definitely add that.
And run a firm outside of Philadelphia with about 10 people. So this is like a financial issue that a lot of my clients are dealing with, just putting aside the writing and stuff that I do. I mean, this is like real life stuff. So, it's a good topic to talk about.
Yeah, no question about it. I probably have the attention of every business owner right now. Although they also are cringing when they hear those terms, healthcare coverage, right?
Well, I mean, you say that it's so true. Like, healthcare costs went up 9% in 2024, 9% in 2025, and they're projected to go up. Try and guess. 9%, in 2026 as well.
Exactly.
And it's healthcare, as we know. We're trying to attract and retain good people, and it is a significant, benefit that people expect. And it's getting really, really hard for small companies like mine, even, to figure out how to pay for it and stay competitive.
That's right. And, there's a lot of people that I've spoken to that when the 90-day or 120-day, that onboarding period of time, goes by, and they say, this, we got to put this person and their family on benefits. These are the inside conversations that they'll have. They say they take a really close look at that associate or that new hire to say, are we keeping them? Because if we're not, we're going to be adding another $1,000 a month to what we have to pay to keep these people employed here. And are they really worth it? They really start to take a look at the longevity of that employee because of the healthcare costs that they're going to now have to incur, right?
I agree. And you'd be surprised how many employers just don't provide any healthcare coverage at all, or they provide a plan, but they don't contribute to it. And it's painful because, you're trying to get good workers, and I don't know, they go and they work, for JBF Media, which has a much more benefit plan, much more rewarding than, probably what the Marks Group offers. So I'm going to lose my people to you guys.
So let's talk about level funded health plan. What is a level funded health plan?
It's an option for a lot of small businesses, and it's been growing in popularity. Level funded plans are a form of self-insurance. Self-insurance for many years have sort of been like the game for big companies, but now small businesses are getting a piece of the action. And what a level funded plan does, and I'll say this just very simplistically, is you say to your employees, Jim, you say, all right, I'll tell you what, for the first couple $1,000s in expenses that you have, doctor's visit, out of pocket, co-pays, whatever, we'll reimburse you. You give us the invoice and we'll write you a check. Okay. Your administrator writes them a check, but you write them a check. Okay. When it hits a certain level, a group insurance plan kicks in, like a stop loss catastrophic plan. So God forbid any of your employees, have
cancer,
major sickness
whatever.
or health issue. They're covered there, So you're self-insuring at the lowest level, and then you've got the insurance that kicks in after that. And the reason why it's become so popular is that you go to like a typical business, maybe they got 50 employees or 150 employees. They find that like a lot of they're like you are so generously contributing to your employees' healthcare, and then when they start asking their employees, they're finding out that their employees aren't even really using their healthcare plans. I mean, they're young, and they're healthier, and they're just whatever. And meanwhile, you're paying for the healthcare because you're contributing for it. So here with a level funded plan, you're like, hey, listen, your healthcare plan is still there. It's just that we're only going to reimburse you when you actually use a healthcare service provider. And then obviously anything catastrophic is covered after that.
Right.
And it winds up saving businesses like a ton of money.
Oh, I bet, because now the healthcare that you're purchasing to cover them is at such a much higher level.
Yes.
That the insurance company is like, sure, this will cost you a whole lot less to because our risk factor isn't there like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been doing this for a while. I can tell. You're absolutely right. I mean, you're buying the group insurance coverage, but you're literally telling the insurance provider, hey, you know what? We're kind of covering the lower level stuff. We're paying for it, so you don't have to worry about that. You're right. So their premiums are way more competitive to do it that way, and because of that, it's become a lot more popular with businesses. Sure. And I've been talking it up with my clients, and I write every week for the Philly Inquirer, is one of the places I write for, and I did a whole piece on it just last week because I'm seeing like a bunch of my clients really moving in that direction. So level funded plans. The other caveat I'll give you is be careful is that because premiums can turn out lower in the end, there are some brokers that are out there that might point you away from a level funded plan because it means less commissions for them. So that's not great. Yeah. So you want to be careful. You want to interview a few brokers about this. Okay. So that you can get some different opinions on it. Sure. But it is it's absolutely a question you need to be asking your health insurance advisor.
Boy, for sure. What are there any certain kinds of businesses that are best positioned to take advantage of an option like this, or size of company or anything? Or
no, that's a great question. I mean, no, I've seen some really small clients, 5 employees, half a dozen employees, and I've seen ones that have 100 employees, that do it. It's really, I think the real discerning factor is sort of the nature of your employees. You know what I mean? So if they're relatively younger and healthier, with a decent health history, you're generally more inclined to benefit from a plan like this.
Yeah, I'd rather be paying them the money in an increased salary than to be throwing it, at insurance money. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because a little tax tip for you and any other business owners that are watching this. If you're planning on giving and I hope you are planning on giving your employees your raises this year, I've seen a number of my clients, instead of giving their employees a raise with more compensation, they contribute more to their health plans. And the reason why is because when you give your employees a raise, they get taxed on that raise, and you have to pay employer taxes on that raise.
That's right.
However, if you say, hey, instead of you giving me that $100 raise, I'm going to put $100 more towards your health plan. Yeah. They don't get taxed on that. Yeah, they have a higher net in their paycheck because you're contributing more to their health plan. Yep. And you don't pay employer taxes either. So
nice. That's a huge advantage for employers.
Yeah. Everybody wins if you give them that option to consider. I mean, some employees, fair enough, just want to take the cash and run, but others will be like, all right, that's cool. Yeah. Pay more for our health insurance, and we'll take the tax benefit.
How long has this been around?
Forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't know about this?
I've been friends now for the last 5 or 6 years, so I'm kind of mad at you now for not calling
I know.
me.
Don't get mad at me. Get mad at your accountant. That's who you got to be talking to.
That's right. Then, by the way, I might add, this is for the audience that's listening right now, small business owners, entrepreneurs, medium size. This is the importance, by the way, of having a great CPA on your side and an accountant that understands small business. Don't just go to them for the year-end tax return. You need an advisor in your corner like a Gene Marks, if not Gene Marks, to say, hey, we want to grow the business. Here's where we want to go. Here's who we want to hire. This is how many people we're going to have, not just today, but planning over the course of the next 5 years, because it goes quickly. If your business shows a little bit of success.
And I tell you something, listen, I'm a CPA. I love my profession. I have a great amount of respect for it. There are good accountants and there are not as great accountants.
Sure.
But to your point, when you're looking for an accountant, your accountant should be greedy. Your accountant should be talking to you all the time with ideas and offering you more services. Even this whole thing that we just talked about with the health insurance and contributing more, that takes some discussions and time to set up and some thought process and communication. Your accountant should be like, you should be doing this. I will help you do it. It's, I'm going to charge you X dollars to do it.
That's right.
Good for them. They should be greedy because they should be offering you all sorts of ideas where they can help you do
totally agree.
different things like
totally
that.
agree. So. Everybody thinks, let's run out and open up our business, but you need a really good an attorney that understands small business, by the way, not divorce attorney that or a DUI attorney that handles everything. I don't want one of those. I want somebody that understands small business. Same holds true with a CPA and or an accountant, but a CPA specifically can really help you as long as they are focused on small to medium-sized businesses. And it's so important to have that, because you don't want to make the mistake that I just made, where I don't have a healthcare plan for my people.
I'm going to get an irate email from your accountant sometime this week, aren't I? I know that's coming.
You would, but he's in jail for
right,
so,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Right, for tax evasion.
He'll be out in a couple of years, but when he gets out, I'm going to call him up. No, just joking. He's a good guy, but nevertheless. Sure. So these are the kinds of things that we want to be bringing you here at ASBN. What's your best piece of advice as it relates to this? You've already given us some great stuff, but if you had to leave our audience with one piece of advice as we go into 2026 and beyond, with regard to healthcare, what would it be? What action do you want them to take right now?
I can tell you this much. If you're not offering a healthcare option, you need to be. Okay. I mean, you're killing yourself if you're not.
Okay.
So regardless of the cost, it's an investment that employees, rightfully so, value. It's the number one most requested benefit. So when you're interviewing people and trying to attract good workers to your company and good talent to your company, and you're sitting there, we don't have a healthcare plan, you're just going to be losing people, and you're going to kill yourself. So
I agree.
You got to have an option. I know it's costly. There's some alternative, like some of the ideas you and I have just discussed, and there are others, by the way, like HRAs, health reimbursement arrangement. I mean, there are ways that you can mitigate the cost of healthcare, or at least provide other options. Mm-hmm. But you have to have an answer for the question: what kind of health benefits do you offer? You have to do that. Right.
Great advice. Gene Marks, columnist, best-selling author, keynote speaker, small business expert, but most of all, great CPA. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is great stuff for our audience. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Take care.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.